Not even Xena is a match for the limited edition double-edged lightsaber from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
You removed it from its original packaging.
No! It's no longer a collectible! Oh!
What a nerd.
I bet my Wookiees.
Oh, Scotty. Now you've done it.
Aye, the haggis is in the fire for sure. But I'll not lower my defenses on the word of that mealy-mouthed gentleman down below. Not until I know what happened to the captain.
Computer. Ah. Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Star Wars Scran here. How are we all doing? Let me get the camera on. Howdy. If you're in chat, say hello so I know you're here. Let's have a quick look here. I can see Martial Arts Legends here. Hello, good sir. You're asking, what's your least favourite Star Wars book from the EU? Out of what I've read, Martial Arts Legend, out of what I've read, I'd say Shadows of the Empire has been my least favourite. Not that it's bad, not that it's a bad story, it's just been my least favourite so far. Next up we have Nasal Servant Arc. Good to see you, dude. Nice to see you. I love seeing you guys in chat. How's everyone's day been so far? I hope it's been better than mine. So basically, I had a pretty bad morning because I'm going to be having a busy week at work, and I was supposed to wake up at 5 a.m. this morning, and I totally slept in. I got to work around, it was just after 8 o'clock, and so the boss wasn't happy. So I'm a little bit stressed out, but that's why we're here. We're here to chill out and talk some Star Wars and the state of Star Wars, I suppose. Here, I want to get you up on screen just because I can. There's Martial Arts Legends and there's Nasal Servant's Arc. Where's Lil Shell? Lil Shell's in the next room. She's chilling tonight. She's off the hook this evening. Nasal Servant Arc says, pretty good. Looking forward to talking about Dark Tide Ideology tonight. Oh, is that tonight you're doing that? Nice one, man. You're actually caught up to where I am in the New Jedi Order, the Dark Tide Ideology. Honestly, I don't know about you, but Corran Horn's become one of my favourite Star Wars characters solely based on those two books, Onslaught and Ruin. I'll definitely try and tune into that, and obviously I still need to get you on the stream to talk about it. So to tell you what, maybe once you've done your stream, I'll get you on next week. Next week we'll get you on and we can talk about the first 3 books in the New Jedi Order. That'd be awesome. And I'm hoping to be going on Star Wars Marvel Purists channel for he's about to finish up Onslaught, so I think I'm going to be replacing Tim from the United Spacers Alliance. I think he's maybe going to let me go on and take his place, because that book's fresh in my mind anyway, so that'd be really cool to talk about. Corran's definitely grown more on you. Yeah, the only other book I knew him from just from research was I, Jedi, which I haven't read yet, so nice one, Nasal. Right, so I'll get that in the diary, and I'll send, even if you can't stay on for long, I'll send the link. I'll send the link over to your X account. All right, that'd be cool. Have you read the Young Reader's Star Wars books like Young Jedi Knights and Jedi Apprentice? No, I haven't. I really like the look of the Jedi Apprentice ones. That's like the Phantom Menace era ones, isn't it? And the Young Jedi Knights, it takes place just before New Jedi Order, doesn't it? Get some background on the Solo kids. That's awesome. So yeah, we're just here to chill out and grab yourselves a beverage. I'm talking Carillion whiskey, a Romulan ale, or you can get some calf, whatever tickles your fancy, alright? Or if you're a fan of the Phantom Menace video game, get yourself a jury juice. Oh, there's Matthew, good day. What are you saying? I disliked how Luke was written in the Black Fleet trilogy. Most EU books are so... Here, let me get my glasses on. I can't read. Most EU books are so much better than Disney, even the bad ones. Worst comic, probably Dark Empire 3 or Crimson Empire 2, just personally. Yeah, I know quite a lot of people aren't a fan of the Dark Empire ones. That's right, he is in the X-Wing books, isn't he? I forgot about that. I still need to read those. Honestly, there's so much on the list. Who's the Soul Assassin, the best mod in the business? Who's this guy? Bring Mrs. Scran back. She was cool. Yeah, I need to get her on one of the Cannon Bomb streams. We'll think is something that she really likes, and we can talk about it for a couple hours. Yeah, she had fun, and that was next on my list of things to say. Like, thanks to everyone that made her feel welcome. She had a lot of fun on the stream, so it was really cool of you all. You just didn't give her too much of a hard time. Hey, Knights of Undercover. Hello there, Scran. My next video is coming soon. I don't know when. I am also close to finishing it. I will premiere it. Remember that, Scran. Oh yeah, I'll remember that, Undercover. Just once I finish the stream, I'll set the notifications for it if you've got it. That might not work. Just, yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it. Oh, cheers, Soul Assassin. I was supposed to be, just a side note, I was supposed to be on Decrepit's stream last week, but I couldn't make it, so I felt pretty bad about it. So I've actually sent Decrepit the link for tonight. So I know he's usually working around this time, but I just said if he has a free moment, he could pop on and chat for a little bit. So that might happen, it might not. Hopefully he can come and talk to us. He's a really nice guy, actually, and he's a really big Star Wars fan. So yeah, there's Soul Assassin with the links. Absolute legend. Love to see it. But yeah, I do intend on having other guests on in the future. It's just, or even I'm thinking maybe like a hop-in, what do you call it? A hop-in stream where like a lot of you guys in the chat, even if you don't have like channels of your own, could come on and we could have a chat, and that'd be pretty cool. But I feel like I've gotten a bit away from the novel that we're trying to read, and it's really important to me that I finish what I set out to do, you know. And I just think I just really want to share these stories with you and get through the novel, you know. We're only on chapter 10. Hey, there's Decrepit in the chat. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Unfortunately, mate, I'm still at work and can't make it on, but I'm listening for sure. Everyone smash the like button immediately. It's all good, man. I'm going to be having Decrepit on anyway at some point, because like the Cannon Bomb series, I really want to get that going. We did the Phantom Menace video game, which was a lot of fun. I think a lot of the my subscribers and using the chat like that. Darth Pause, like, where is Darth Pause? Because he was supposed to do the Knights of the Old Knights of the Old Republic, yeah, fake fan. He was supposed to be doing that with me when I complete the game, but I think Decrepit's interested in stepping in for him, so that'd be cool to get to talk to Decrepit one-on-one. We won't have Captain Keeley and Narrow Dark talking crap in the background. Nah, just kidding. Those guys are cool. Aye, so there's that. Let's see, where are we going? Yeah, we got through. Anytime I type Decrepit's name, like, I want to type it like he has it displayed, and it's a farce. Aye, love to the Aussies. Like I said, like, Captain Keeley was one of the first people to appear in my chat and show support for my channel, so I've got a soft spot for Keeley. Matthew says, I like Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, and the Sith War, as well as the Freedom Nad Uprising. Some of the other books aren't the same quality. Yeah. I wouldn't really be able to comment on that. I haven't read those ones. Who knows? Like, anytime, like, Pause sometimes appears in my chat here, but whenever, like, I'll bring it up jokingly, but he'll never respond to, like, what's actually going on. So maybe just need to leave him alone. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully he'll be back. His channel was great, and he made me laugh. But one thing that I wanted to talk about last stream with Mrs. Scran, and I forgot about it, was it was when Josh from Den of Nerds, or Den of Vong, or whatever you want to call it, came back to Nerd Theory for that one stream. It was during the time when KK's Kathleen Kennedy released that her response to the rumors that she was retiring, and they like, I thought they were joking, right? These guys legitimately thought that them getting back together was why she released that. Like, it was like a counter to what they were doing. And then who was it? Was it, what's that guy's name that's on the stream? Stupendous Wave. He said it was like no coincidence that happened. Like, I could not believe it. But one thing I don't think is a coincidence is that Nerd Theory came back when that stream was basically dwindling in numbers, and the United Spacers Alliance was about to overtake it. I think that's why Theory really wants Josh back. And I did notice that he didn't have the stream last week, which is a bit strange. Heyo, there's Andres Hernandez in the chat. Good to see you, dude. You're alive. Oh, did you think maybe Mrs. Scran would have, after our debate about the Force and canon and stuff like that, about like an hour after the stream ended, we were still arguing about the Force. That was pretty funny, actually. Yeah, it was the biggest stream we had in a while. Like, that Dash and Stupendous Wave have like nothing to add to the conversation. Like, on top of Theory, who doesn't know what he's talking about. But yeah, they're not bringing in the views. Like, Josh always had like the hopium and the rumors and stuff like that, you know. It's just kind of funny. I remember he left to work on his comic, and like, he's still never released it. You find that with grifters though, like they think that like Star Wars is beneath them, and then when they have nothing else interesting to talk about, they come back. You know what I mean? But yeah, like after criticizing Theory's channel last time, I did feel a little bit bad about it, but then I was reminded of like all the ridiculous stuff he says on that channel. To be honest, I felt more bad about putting Mrs. Scran on the spot by bringing him up, but like, don't get me wrong, I think his channel is really harmful to Star Wars, but she's a nicer person than me, thankfully. Get Ryan Kinnell back on the Stargrift. The only good thing about that is like, he was constantly getting exposed, wasn't he? Because before Stargrift, I think he still held that kind of authority. You know, like, people actually thought he knew the lore and stuff. Like, even the history of Star Wars, dude, he just doesn't know he doesn't know anything about it. And I know the Star Wars Marvel purists having a stream later, and he's going to reveal some stuff. But it's a shame that I always stream before him, because there's stuff I'd like to talk about that I don't want to take away from him, you know. But yeah, like, anyone apart from Dash and Stupendous Wave would highly benefit his channel. That's it, Decrepit. He said I have never met anyone that knows the 6 movies better than me. Like what a thing to say. Like I sometimes get like if someone asks me something about the movie, sometimes I get a bit taken back. Like, oh, like what do I say? You know, like, and I've seen the movies like hundreds of times. I'm trying to think of which Star Wars movie I've seen the most. It probably would be Return of the Jedi. I've seen the most amount of times. But like I said, that was like, well, it still is like a comfort movie, you know, from being a kid. But you know, if Theory wants to use his platform to spread hopium for Disney Star Wars, to sell Disney Star Wars sabers, to use industry professionals who worked on Disney movies, to make his fan film, to spread misinformation about the expanded universe, all while claiming to honor George, like, he can do what he likes, but like, I'm going to reserve the right to criticize that. Oh, Riff Magos is in chat. Nice to see you, dude. The thing is, Scran, some people are egotistical. Aye. Aye, I think you're right. Anakin Batsy, hello, good sir. I like your avatar. That's awesome. Is that the episode where like he gets all those cool tattoos and stuff like that from the Tartakovsky Clone Wars? Does it really matter how many times you watched, played, or viewed Star Wars? I rather talk and share my knowledge about Star Wars and have fun. Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. Hey, Narrow Dark's here. Good to see you, man. You'll need to stick around because I'm going to be glazing a few channels later. I think we spend a lot of time exposing the fakes. It'd be good to talk about some of the good Star Wars based channels. I'll finish up on my spiel about Theory anyway. Yeah, I think we'll reserve the right to call him out, and I think I never want to come across as malicious either or nasty. It's just I need to remember to focus more on what he says and not make it personal, you know. I don't think that's a good thing to do. It's kind of like with the anti-EU people. Like, I'm trying not to get pulled into arguments and argue like canon and stuff like that, because like I know that the expanded universe is canon, and there's just no arguing with some people. Some people are set in their ways, or they've got some sort of reason to twist the narrative. And I think it's got to do with, I was talking to Iron Inquisitor about this, because it really doesn't matter how much evidence you show. Like when I was getting into the expanded universe, for instance, I would watch videos from these really great channels, and I didn't know about the expanded universe, really, like the history of it. And when I found out that these stories counted towards the continuity, like, that made me want to learn about the lore. Like, it actually brought me back to Star Wars. Like, I think it was after Andor. Like, I've spoken about it before. I was already tapped out, but watching just to see what was going on. In after Andor, I was like, why am I even following this stuff anymore? And the expanded universe brought me back. There's so much new Star Wars that I've never experienced, you know? And that could be the same for anyone, but some people look at that and they think, oh, I don't know that stuff, and I don't want to have to read all that stuff. So they just spread the narrative that it's garbage and it doesn't count. I'm seeing all your comments here. I know you all probably feel similar. Soul Assassin says, KOTOR brought me into the EU, haven't stopped since. That's interesting. I didn't realise that was your kind of gateway into it. Riff Mago says, it is funny the way people like Theory used the old line, George didn't care about the EU, which is why he takes for granted Anakin's grandchildren, etc. Yeah. And dude, I don't even need to argue it. Go over to Purist's channel. He's been, I mean, it's stuff I've shared on my channel before, like in some of the history of videos, but a lot of that stuff that HoloNet put together, Purist has been doing in video form, and it's like going through it basically and showing things that George approved and disapproved, and like why would he be saying yes or no if none of it mattered? You know what I mean? Speaking of Purist, there he is in chat. We're just glazing your channel a little bit, dude. Just talking about how, oh, you're all good, man. Whenever you turn up, it's a good thing. Riff Mago says Purist is the man. I agree. Purist's been like really good for. I think he's been really good for the Star Wars community. Like, especially for me, like bringing me out. He's helped bringing me out of my shell a bit. And aye, that's right. H2O's the real canon. I knew you would notice that. Purist's really helped bring me out my shell on YouTube, and he invited me to his 1 year anniversary stream with loads of great people, and even onto his he wanted to include me in his NGO streams. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to do that, and I think people found my channel that way as well, and it's awesome. What's Riff Mago saying? I propose Purist and Ryan Kinnell versus Theory and Coach. Dude, that'd be brilliant. I'd buy that for $1. What are you all drinking in chat anyway? I gave some suggestions. Are you Karelian whiskey drinkers, or do you like your calf? Yeah, Purist, I was talking about that a bit at the start of the stream. I was hoping you would ask me, so I do want to cover at least one of those. Obviously, it's late for me, but if it's on a Friday, I can just. No, it would be a Friday or a Saturday. It can bleed over into the Saturday or Sunday, you know. Like I was saying, so I'm still right. Let's see, I'm falling behind here. Which do you prefer? So I'm I'm still getting into Agents of Chaos, because like it's annoying. Sometimes at work I get like a nice easy shift and I can just listen. But like I was saying at the start of the stream, I'm having a busy time at work just now, and it's hard to focus. And I really want to pay attention because I know it's Lucino's first novel in the EU. In the beginning of the book, like I was having a hard time kind of fathoming like what was going on, and I just don't want to miss anything. So Ruin so far has been my favorite in the series, and it's fresh in my mind. So if you need me on the stream to help out with that, I'm at your bidding basically. So happy to do it. Soul Assassin says, it's funny, I can keep up with purists when it comes to Star Wars, but when he starts talking Marvel, I'm 99% of the time saying, what the heck is he talking about? Well, I actually like when he talks Marvel, because although I've never been like a big Marvel comic book fan, like a big part of my childhood was kind of Marvel, because I've got a twin brother, and he was a big fan of Spider-Man, and like as big as I am into Star Wars, he loved Spider-Man. So we always had Marvel stuff, and I have got a soft spot for Marvel. Okay, Ewan gets for Ruin. I will see if Wilkins wants to cover Ruin as well. I'm sure he's down. Let me finish Onslaught and I'll figure out date. Oh yeah, definitely. I'd love to get a chance to speak to Wilkins as well, because yeah, he wanted to come on the stream before I had the setup, so I think he's gotten bored and he's off skis, so it's whatever. I'll need to start talking more Ewoks, then I'll get his attention. But yeah, am I still on the theory thing? But yeah, I might cut that bit out of the last stream, just because I felt like I kind of interjected it out of nowhere towards the end, like, oh, what do you think of theory and that, and I know he rubs me the wrong way, but I watched it back and it just felt like I was being a bit mean, you know. But then again, I remember all the stuff he's been saying about Star Wars, and it triggers me. So, whatever. I don't know what I've written here. Talking about the big channels. Yeah, the big channels being harmful in the sense that their audience are so impressionable, and whatever they say, their audience will believe and repeat, and that's how these misconceptions and fake news are spread. Yeah, I'm sure he's just busy, Matt Wilkins. But yeah, get me on the calendar for that, and just let me know. I'm really interested in that. Oh, I know that, Narrow Dark, and like the intention wasn't to be nasty either. I just thought it would be a topic of conversation. It's just, I think being Scottish, like I'm very baritone, and like I should really emphasize things that I'm saying, you know. And also, it's pretty embarrassing, like, because these Hope Grifter channels, they associate us with the Shills, and or should I say, we get associated. The Shills associate us with them, and then vice versa. They associate us with the Shills. They actually conflate us with them because they can't understand why we would be calling them out. You know what I mean? But like the Grifters and the Shills both love Disney Star Wars, basically. So, not to be the narcissistic one, but we are the ones that are truly honoring George Lucas Star Wars and his universe, because we're actually talking about this stuff and calling out when people are misrepresenting it, and that's just kind of how it is at the moment. Soul Assassin says, I'd rather be a small channel with people I know by name and are legit than legions of strangers who just agree with what I say. Yeah, that's for sure. Although I've been pretty blessed so far, everyone seems to be on the same page in chat usually. You get the odd person that likes the Disney stuff, and that's fine as long as they're not spreading fake news, you know? We're worse than the cancel pig Jills. Yeah, that the worst section of fandom, aren't we? Nah, man, they think y'all are worse than the Shills. Some say y'all actually worship the Grand George's Walk Son. Like, I could go around saying things that are wrong with the movies, but then at the same time, like, who am I to say what's wrong with the movies? It's George's vision, and I like it for what it is. Yeah, I think a lot of these bigger channels kind of hit their limit. But then the same could go for like my channel, you know, like not everyone's going to be interested in some Scottish dude talking Star Wars novels, you know. Pardon me. But yeah, they all like Disney Star Wars, even the grifters, because they'll always say that they like Mandalorian and the Jedi Fallen Order games. But being honest, like, well, they're probably not being honest because they're on record saying that everything's like a 7 out of 10, and like it's all part of Disney Star Wars. That's what they're not understanding. It's not like one thing can be good when, even if something's well made, it ties into the other stuff. In fact, I stole this from Purist's video that I watched today on George Lucas in the EU. Vince Lee, who worked on the Rebel Assault 2 video game, which I did play as a kid. It's actually it was the first live action Star Wars that had been recorded since Return of the Jedi. But this is a quote from him. He said, if you're going to do a video with George Lucas's name on it, you'd better do it well. And I think that's a sentiment that should apply to Star Wars YouTubers, no matter how big your channel is. if you're going to do a video with George's name on it, you better do it well. So yeah, go and see Purist's channel to get more context on that. Pro Jack fan, I recognise the name. Good to see you, dude. Happy to have you here. Why don't you give us your favourite EU novel or your favourite Star Wars memorabilia? Just something that you like about the Star Wars universe. Let us know. Riff Magos, all roads lead to the Rey trilogy. These fence riders and shills don't understand that. That includes the Blandalorian, Blandor, and Rogue One. Exactly. And that, yeah, you're right. Exactly. Path of Destruction. That's oh, that's the one Purist and Pause like a lot. Darth don't tell me. Oh, why can I not? Dude, it's a trilogy. Darth Bane. And the second one has that cover that everyone slags, doesn't it? Cheers, Now the Dark. You're a little bit late. I just remembered. Nice one. That's definitely a trilogy. It's high on my list to read. Nah, we were talking about that. He's been in the live chat a couple times, but he doesn't respond to anything. He just slags stuff that I say. There you go. Soul Assassin's always on it. I love to see it. One other thing that was on the list of things to state in general. If you think there was an account on X who, I don't know if you've seen his channel. You know, Star Wars Timeline. He has a YouTube channel as well. He's like an EU fan, but he likes Disney as well. But sometimes he'll call out Disney. It's strange. He kind of flip flops. But he's done interviews with Steve Perry from Shadows of the Empire and stuff like that, and he's even said that the stuff's canon. But he was having a go today or yesterday about how he was disappointed with the prequels, like that. It's that the prequels had it relied too heavily on CGI, and when I think about that, I'm just like, what's your excuse for like pretty much any other Hollywood movie that's been made in the last 20 years? They all rely heavily on CGI. Like, think about like Marvel movies, you know. Like the third act of Marvel movies is usually just a CGI fest. Like, the difference being George's movies stand the test of time. Well, at least the Phantom Menace does pretty good. I'll die on that hill. And then it's like George pushed that filmmaking technology, and all these other ones rely on it. So like, why do the prequels get slagged for using CGI? Like when he was developing it, and then movies nowadays get a pass. I don't get it. Oh, dude, Ezra's Junkyard is in the chat. Hey, Scranny, I just force choked the like button. Oh, cheers, dude. Good to see you in chat. That's awesome. And like, now that we have Ezra here, I just want to say again, cheers to everyone that came to that stream, watched the replay, went and gave Ezra's channel a visit. Yous were all really sound as well, and yous welcomed them, and yous gave the channel a good name, so that's awesome. Ezra's good people, and he loves Ewoks, so you know he's good people, and he's welcome on this channel anytime. There's the little shill back for more. They've been wanting you back on stream, but I said they'll have to wait. I can only take so much exposing. Yeah, I think I was talking to Ezra after the stream. We're gonna, because he's reading the same book as me at the moment. We're both reading Cloak of Deception, so I think we're going to go over to his channel once we've both read it and chat about it. I'll make sure I do loads of research to bring to that, and that'll be good. Thanks, Gran. I had a really good time. I think about our stream often, and I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of it too. Like, I'm really proud of it. I think it was a good first episode of Cannonbomb, and it kind of set the tone, and I'll just need to work a few things out, like the structure and stuff like that. But honestly, like, indebted to you, man. It went really well. So part 2, the Shill Wars. Aye. Was it William Ripke? I don't see him in chat, but he was saying we should call her the Lil Hujib. I think that's one of the little creatures from the old Marvel Star Wars comics, the Hujibs. Oh, cheers, Soul Assassin. There's Ezra's channel in the chat. Awesome. Oh, that's right, Matthew. Like, they totally ripped off like Dark Forces for the Rogue One characters, didn't they? Yes, sir. I need to start making notes on our book we are reading, and then I'd love to have you on the channel. That would be incredible if you're up for it. Yeah, definitely. I was planning on getting back into it last night, and then I fell asleep, and then I was still late for work this morning, so I blame the EU. Lil Hujip would work. Yeah, Nasal Servant agrees. Anything but the Lil Pord, please. Please, we had an intervention and everything last week, and you've still just kept it. So, yeah, I'll never understand why people give the prequels a hard time for using CGI. But I made a video in kind of response to a lot of that stuff that the fence riders and shells say. And it's really just a reminder of what actually happened to Star Wars like over 10 years ago. Hey, the little gonk could work. Gonks are pretty cool. The little gonk. Narrow Dark's onto something. You know, over a decade ago, Star Wars got hijacked, didn't it? My video was I called it a documentary, but I could have put a bit more work into it. I just really wanted to get it out, you know. But it's all about the betrayal of George Lucas, and to be honest, like, it got received pretty well. Like, where'd my notes go? Like, most people in chat were just, a lot of people said it was hard to watch, like it made them angry. And only a handful of people were just like, oh, it was a contract and George didn't make sure that they had to use his treatments and stuff. And I was like, that's not the point of the video. The point is that he trusted his friends and they betrayed his trust, you know what I mean? And you watch all those early interviews and they're very much promising they're going to have his involvement and use his ideas. And then he actually said he felt betrayed by them. He wasn't just disappointed, he was betrayed. And like, I don't know about you, but that makes me really sad. That makes me really sad to think that they did that to him. And like, to the point where he was just, right, well, that's it, just cutting ties with it then. Go your own way kind of thing. Yeah, the little gonk works. Decrepit concurs. So like and the weird thing with it was Bob Iger, like, he kind of like set it up. Like, George wasn't even interested in selling at that point. And I don't remember if I included this bit in the video, but like, Bob Iger usually lets like other executives go to the parks to open rides and stuff. But because George was going, he made sure that he was going that day. And he set up like a breakfast with George and his fiance, like in a restaurant that wasn't even open. And then George gets in and he's like it's empty. This is weird. Like, imagine how weird that would have been, like, just turning up. Like, he would have known something was going on. And then like halfway through your breakfast, he's like, oh, you're getting old. Like, he's like a serpent in the grass, man. You're getting old. Like, no one's going to continue your legacy. Like, you're going to want to sell it to someone, aren't you? Like, pretty soon. Like, remember what I did with Pixar and what I did with the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Like, just sneaky. And I think even with how George was with Dave Filoni. I think he's just a really trusting person, and I think that's probably two of George's biggest mistakes he's ever made, is trusting Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni. So, and now they're working together. So, ironic. But yeah, guys, that was kind of like the main things I wanted to talk about. And like I mentioned earlier, like I know we often call out and expose these like grifter channels and shills, but sometimes it's good to shout out like Star Wars based channels that are based channels, right? So first up, I was going to talk about the United Spacers Alliance. I know not everyone's a fan of that channel. Not entirely sure why, because I think his channel's great. It was definitely an important channel for me getting into the expanded universe. Learned a lot from him. He really helped me to kind of, well, not just Tim, but like Liquid Blake, Greg Hates Everything, formerly known as Tuscan Bob, and OG Star Wars, who has their own channel. It really helped me to kind of wrap my head around what was going on with Disney Star Wars and how to kind of look at things a bit differently. You know, like when these like news articles come out and you're like, oh, like Kathleen Kennedy's getting fired, or like, oh, they're putting this character on a show, that means like this is going to happen and that can fix this and blah blah blah. And it's like you just have to look that little bit deeper and you can kind of determine what's actually going on. So really important channel, and I wanted to do a little bit of a tribute for him. So I've got a clip here. Hopefully it works.
He must have hit the wrong button, because the air doors slammed shut, space doors opened, and he just flew out into space. Now, the one thing they never tell you is that you don't die instantly in vacuum. Just hung there against the black, like a puppet with his strings all tangled up. Or one of those old cartoons where you run off the edge of the cliff and your legs keep going. You could see that he was trying to breathe, but there was nothing. And one thing I remember when they pulled in his body, his eyes were frozen. A lot of people make jokes about spacing somebody, about shoving somebody out an airlock. I don't think it's funny.
There's the spacing theme. He had his last countries. He had his last spacing last Friday, which is a total shame because it's like a total highlight and a pinnacle of the Star Wars community, I feel. So should learn to sing in Huttese. Maybe in the future. So yeah, first up was United Spacers Alliance. Really great channel that you should subscribe to, because I believe that he's still going to be making content and stuff like that. It's just not going to be live streaming. Let's see. Next up, OG Star Wars. She does a lot of comparing and contrasting lore, and the original lore against what Disney are putting out. You know how they like to cherry pick from the old stuff and twist it and stuff like that. Let's see. I think I might be having a bit of a delay here, so Matthew says, if George didn't push for digital cinema, nothing that is commonplace now would exist. No digital backlot, no Marvel, no Lord of the Rings, no Matrix. Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of that stuff wouldn't exist, but the prequels are bad. So, so also subscribe to OG Star Wars. That's Alora, because her content's really good as well. She does her calf chats on Thursdays. Because of the time difference, I like to listen on the way home from work on Thursdays. And then you've got Matt Wilkins, who you all know. He does like his read throughs. He's read the entire expanded universe through. That'll, I imagine, about 3 times now, because he read it, and then he did a read through, and then he did a reread, and he's currently covering the TCW series, and I don't think he's having a good time with that, but pretty cool that he's doing it, and it'll be cool when he goes on to cover the good cartoons and movies and stuff like that. So go subscribe to Matt Wilkins. Next up is Star Wars Marvel Purist, who you should know by now. He does really good content. He does really great live streams where he'll expose shells for about an hour, and then he'll spend 4 hours reading you comic books and talking lore, and pardon me, and then he'll bring people on, and he'll dissect novels and just share the lore, like what these other big channels should be doing. He's actually going out there and doing it. So don't forget Pause. Well, we could shout out Pause if he was still around. Like, he's not even in chat tonight. I want him to come back as much as everyone else. Like, his content was great and his live streams were hilarious. So hopefully one day, like, go subscribe to him just in case he comes back. We're all hoping. Next up, Knights of Melvin. You should be subscribed to Knights of Melvin by now. Arguably the best Star Wars channel out there. He's been exposing shills for years before anyone else, as far as I know. He actually, like, Melvin tickles my funny bone, honestly. Like, I get a good laugh out of Melvin's content. But, like, I feel like some people don't take him seriously enough. Like, people just think he's joking all the time when he's not. He's just a funny guy. Yeah, 5 years now he's been doing it. Melvin's really, like, set the bar really high, hasn't he? Starting with Theory when Melvin only had 24 subs. Yeah, he was exposing Star Wars Theory, like, long before anyone else. Like, to the point where, like, he only had about 20 odd subs, and Theory noticed, didn't he? And apparently Theory actually, like, got in contact with him and told him to stop, as far as I know. And then Melvin kind of got pally with him, and that's why he wasn't exposing him for a long time. But that was maybe a mistake. He should have kept on it, I think. And then next up, so go subscribe to Melvin. And I'll do Mr. Grizzy next, just because he does the Shill watch-alongs, and like the amount of work he puts into, like, watching all those reviews and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how he does it, and I often find a lot of good clips through him as well, because of his hard work. So, and most of those people I've mentioned so far are part of the the Gatekeepers Alliance. So make sure you go subscribe to the Gatekeepers Alliance, because they are a really important up and coming channel, and kind of like a super group, like the Traveling Wilburys, you know. They definitely deserve your subscription. Oh, is this Star Wars Marvel Purist Plus, where he talks about the he talks about the Mako mermaids? No, he talks about the H2O lore. He talks H2O over Mako mermaids. Exactly. And then next up, you've got the real the real Kyle Katarn, that's Fractured Filter, and his partner Hitman. They're is it Saturday Night Sith? It's called. Whatever time they do that, it seems to be good for me. Like I can catch that live sometimes, and they just go through news articles and give their take on it, and they're a couple of really nice guys as well. Actually, I like listening to them talk. I used to watch H2O when I got home from school when I was a kid. Oh, that's right, because it's an Australian show, isn't it? Because he's a real one, a merman. Oh, that's funny. Right. Next up, you've got Decrepit, who was in the chat earlier. I know he's working. His channel is really good as well. He's not been putting out as much content, but when he does, like his editing and like just the vibe of his channel, I really enjoy it. And he's got the unlimited tirade that he does on Thursdays, I believe. I managed to make the very first one. I was on it, and I've been trying to get on another one, but he does that with Captain Keeley and Narrow Dark, who respectively have their own channels. And you're on the list, guys. Don't worry, you're not just here because Decrepit's on here. Captain Keeley's a really supportive guy, and he's really funny. And his live streams are good as well. He's pretty he's probably the most nonchalant person I know on here. His stuff's good. Go subscribe to Decrepit and Captain Keeley. And then last but not least is Narrow Dark. His content's a bit different. It's awesome. I found Narrow Dark's channel when he was doing the Jacob series, and he was finding all these like ridiculous videos from like Jacob's Facebook or something like that. It was funny. But he's kind of like Melvin in that sense. It's not just a joke. Like he'll actually cover like Star Wars lore, and I know specifically he's been doing the Legacy comics with Cade Skywalker, and I've been getting a bit of lore through that as well. So definitely worth subscribing to is Narrow Dark. Thanks for adding those into the chat, mods. That's awesome. And next up, Raging Rhino. Raging Rhino is a good one. He's maybe the only channel that I watch that I can kind of stay up to date with the Disney stuff. Like, not that he likes it or anything, but he does still watch it and review it and stuff like that. And he's a nice guy as well. He shouted out my channel when I hit 100 subscribers, and he was actually in the last chat saying hello and stuff. So Rhino's a good dude. You should definitely subscribe to Rhino. Next up is Bunt's Books. I don't know if he's in chat. Sometimes he's in chat. Bunt's Books is a nice guy. He does not quite full audiobooks, but he takes like portions from not EU novels, and he'll do them as like a audiobook style, and they're really cool. Like, it's funny because like you'll see in his comments, people will be like, "Oh, can you do this book? Can you do this book?" And it's always like a Disney novel, and he's like his comments always, his replies always the same. I can't remember it verbatim, but he's very much like, "No, I will not be covering. I've been very clear. I will not be covering Disney lore on this channel." And I just always liked how blunt and firm he was. So sometimes I'll call him Blunt's Books. So go subscribe to Blunt's Books. He has definitely earned a subscription. Next up would be Everest Productions. I haven't managed to watch loads of his videos, but what I've seen are incredible, and I definitely plan on seeing more. He did his Plagueis not fan films, but like adaptations. Very cool indeed. He puts a lot of work into them, and I've managed to catch a couple of the streams where he shows you how he does it and stuff like that. So make sure you go and subscribe to him. And I will never take credit for his work either, unlike Star Wars Theory. So there's that. Next up is the Iron Inquisitor. He's been pretty quiet on his channel as of late, but if you go and subscribe to Iron Inquisitor, you'll see that like my channel, if you like my channel is basically just a rip off of Iron Inquisitor's channel. All the topics he likes to talk about, like canon, like showing sources for canon and continuity. I learned a lot of it from him. I'd really love to have him on the channel at some point. Really knowledgeable guy. He still contacts me sometimes, and he'll share things that he's found, and yeah, very helpful indeed. I'd put Iron Inquisitor up there with like OG and Tim from the Space End, like in regards to like having influenced me to start a channel and to be able to use sources and prove what I'm talking about and stuff like that. So and the last one I have on here is I'm Your Alibi. And if you haven't heard of that channel, they do like, they're not strictly a Star Wars based channel, but they do like analysis of the Clone Wars, like mainly Ahsoka's character, and they go through how she is not a well written character, and even to the point that she's not a nice character. Wait, Lil Shell, are you leaving or are you saying goodbye to someone? Let me know. But I'm Your Alibi, they do really good breakdowns of Clone Wars. They actually commented on my, what was it, the Continuity Wars video, and they really appreciated that video, so that was cool. Oh, you're off, skis. We'll have a really good night, and I will see you soon. We're coming up for an hour, and then I'll be reading Shatterpoint, so I'll be at least another hour. So if you're asleep, then sweet dreams. But yeah, apologies if I've missed anyone. It's by no means intentional. I just wanted to give a little bit of praise to a lot of these channels. Like these ones specifically are ones that I really enjoy to watch when I can, and just wanted to show some support. So make sure you subscribe to them because they definitely deserve it. Oh, cheers Decrepit for letting us know. He says next Unlimited Tirade is on 3/20. Right, American dates are backwards. The 21st to the 3rd. Me and the lads will be talking Revenge of the Sith. Oh, dude. It's anniversary year for the film, and we will be going into it extensively. Dude, that's awesome. That's cool. I will hopefully be able to be in the chat for that. Oh, Purist, are you going to be collabing with them? Oh, on MedStar. Yeah, because I know that they like did Barriss Offee. They like that character, don't they? That's cool. Right, so keep us posted on that, because that'd be good. They're quite I don't know what the word is. Like they're quite good with like their words and stuff like that, aren't they? They're articulate. I like them. Narrow Dark says, I will be reading the novelization of Revenge of the Sith in preparation for that stream. Dude. I still need to. I've only read, I think I've read like half of it. And then I went on to something else, but I want to join in. I just want to be in chat for that, like Revenge of the Sith. You better have Decrepit. You need to get loads of cool like thumbnails and images and stuff for that. That'll be sick. They have to read it too, but yes, Barriss, which I'll cover once I finish the Saj and Quinlan Voss story arc. Yeah, like as far as I'm aware, Barriss Offee is like a healer, you know? She's not going to go around like bombing the Jedi Temple. Dude, my nose is really itchy. I don't know what that's all about. Top tier EU novel, yeah. So I kind of talked about the topics I wanted to talk about. I glazed a few of my favorite channels. I'll open up the floor to, is there anything that you guys have seen going on this week that you wanted to maybe get my thoughts on or just talk about in general? While you're thinking of something, I've got something really, really cool to show you, right? My twin brother went to a comic book store through in Glasgow, right? And he got me this. He got me it's a Luke Skywalker, right? And here, before I get him out, it's from 1998, like my Han Solo that I've got. This is obviously trying to think. Yeah, Return of the Jedi era. I got this in, I think it was 2002 when Attack of the Clones came out. So let's see, 1998, 99, 4 years. Like, that's crazy. That's mad. So I've had this for years. It's awesome. And he was right next to. I got Han Solo and I got that's right, it was a Jango Fett. It was about the same height, like a Jango Fett, and the helmet came off and that. And stay up. It's probably gonna fall over. Yeah, I got the Jango Fett, but like I always wished I'd gotten the Obi-Wan. There was a Obi-Wan from episode 2, the same height with the lightsaber and that. But right, this one I think is from the same range or whatever you'd call it. Pretty neat, right? Luke from A New Hope. This is the first time I'm taking him out to have a look as well. Let's see what it says on his foot. 1998 Lucasfilm, Hasbro. Oh no, purist, you're not going to like this. Made in China. Oh no. But there's the lightsaber as well. It looks like it should be. Oh, okay. The blade comes out of the lightsaber, and you can hang it on his little belt. That's pretty neat. But obviously, everybody have him holding the lightsaber. Oh, okay. That doesn't seem to want to stay in his hand. That's a bit garbage. Right, let's see. Let's see. In the late 70s and early 80s, all our stuff was made in Taiwan or Hong Kong, which was still a free market, not communist Chinese. Not like those THQ sabers, huh? I'm really struggling to make him hold this lightsaber. It's I'll maybe have to do something with that. But let's just sit him there then. He's got one leg longer than the other. Okay, stay there. Okay, we'll work that out later. Did none of you have any topics you wanted to talk about? There's definitely some sort of delay going on here, but or you just don't want to talk to me. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Mara Jade lightsaber. Did you see that? That's what Disney do when they need some money, don't they? They release some sort of like expanded universe thing, and then all the grifters are going to start saying that means they're bringing Mara Jade they're bringing her into canon, guys. And then that I'm pretty sure that's what. Oh yeah, Decrepit. That's a good. Well, sorry, I'll grab Narrow Dark first. Mara Jade might actually be coming to Disney Star Wars. Oh, you hope, grifter. No, just kidding. Yeah, I can, like, joke aside, I can see them doing that just to try and get people's interest. But for a fact it's going to be in name only. They've already ruined Luke. Like, even if you think about, everyone loves that Mandalorian episode where Luke turns up. That's set about 5 years after Return of the Jedi, right? So Luke should be during the Thrawn trilogy era. So why is he away training baby Yoda? You know what I mean? So they've already destroyed the prospect of that, and then they turned Luke into a complete loser anyway. So oh, you meant it as a question? Are you a shill if you go see Revenge in the theater? That's a toughie. Like, I probably won't go see it because the way I see it, like, that's just another thing Disney are doing to get money. They're using George's movie because they know for a fact people are going to go see it. Whereas I think, like, you can see it for free anytime you want at home, and you won't have annoying shills, actual shills sitting about pretending that they've loved it since day one, But I totally understand wanting to go see it on the big screen. Just not for me. Decrepit, put it this way: if you want to go see it, I'm not going to call you a shill, because you're a good dude. You get a pass, but anyone else is a shill. I won't see it just because I hate going to the cinema. That's fair enough also. Yeah, like, I always like the idea of going to the cinema and then I get there and it's like it's just not a good experience like it used to be when you were a kid. To be honest with you, like, my experience actually seeing Revenge of the Sith in cinema wasn't the best. And it's because I played the video game first. So a lot of the scenes were already there. And then I'm pretty sure I saw like a bootleg version of it because I couldn't wait. So I saw the movie before it was in cinema, which I kind of regret. But then it was still awesome. I just feel like I took a little bit out of it for me. But Attack of the Clones, like, that is my Star Wars cinema experience. Attack of the Clones. I think I talked about it in one of my videos where I was showing relics and stuff like that. When I was a kid, back in 2002, we were on vacation and they had these like bumper cars, and one of them was like yellow, kind of like this. What is it? It was that sort of yellow, right? So my little ridiculous brain, nerd brain, thinks, like, my my bumper car ran out of juice or whatever. My brother's still buzzing around, and my little autistic brain's like, right, I could be like when Anakin jumps out of it and he drops onto like Zam's one. I was like, right, I'm gonna do that and it's gonna be awesome. So he's like his bumper car was just like going round in circles, and I'm standing next to my dad, and then I'm like, in my head, I'm like Anakin, and I jump onto it, and he's spinning, and I like bounced off the side of it, and like hit the ground, right, and he's still spinning, and almost like chops my fingers off, and then my dad's like going crazy, like calling me an idiot and that, and I was being an idiot, but it's the one time I remember my dad getting like really angry at me, and I was just, I was gutted after that. It's one of those things you remember, and like it just makes you cringe that you did it. Narrow Dark, I barely remember seeing it in the cinema. I was 8. When Revenge of the Sith came out, yeah, I was 10, I believe. But I had a cousin as well that had like, he had the video game first. He had all the toys, like, he had everything, and I always remember being really jealous. So, yeah, the Mara Jade thing, that Jacob dude was saying that, like, what was it he said? He said EU fans have never had it better. Like, what a stupid thing to say. They never had it better, although like Disney like cancelled the EU essentially. They don't make any more of it. But now that they're releasing like action figures and stuff, it's like we've never had it better. It doesn't have a clue. Oh, that was the other thing in Star Wars news. Did you any of you see the new teaser trailer for? I guess it wasn't a teaser. It was a trailer for Andor 2, and it's one of those like trailers where it's got like the cast and stuff talking about it. And Diego Luna, right? I'm not joking. He comes out and he says, everyone in the production does their homework, and you can tell. I'm guessing they didn't do their homework during Rogue One because it completely trashed Dark Forces. So, or the fact that the Death Star already had its dish. Do you remember at the end of? Maybe you guys could talk about this in your Revenge of the Sith stream. At the very end of Revenge of the Sith, when you've got Vader and the Emperor looking outside of the Star Destroyer at the Death Star, you can see that the dish is already in the Death Star. And then in Andor season 1 at the very end, you see these stupid robots. I think it's the robots that Andor and that were building in the prison. You see them like putting the dish into the Death Star, so there's a continuity error right there. And then yeah, I did have written down here, Decrepit, that you probably shouldn't go see Revenge of the Sith in cinema, but do what you want to do. Like, don't listen to me, you know. It's more like the ones that. It's all good. I don't want to get into it. Last thing I wanted to say was just remember Purist is streaming later, and you should definitely be there for that. I think he's going to reveal a few things that you might not have known. Let's see. And that is us. We will be getting into the Shatterpoint chapter 10. We have about 6 left in chat. I understand that some people like to leave when the book comes out. It's all good. You can catch the replay, or you can linger, grab your own copy of the book so you can follow along. We're finishing up chapter 9. There's like 4 pages left. Oh, dude, my nose is itchy. And then chapter 10, let's see how many pages we're working with here. Bear with me. And it's called A Jedi's Word as well. 1, 2. Okay, 9 pages, not too bad. That'll be, so front and back, 18 pages. Narrow Dark will be listening while he works. Nice one, dude. Thanks very much. We will get into it. I'm going to take a quick little break. So what I'll do is I'll play a clip for you and I'll be right back.
So how many characters of that Star Wars family exist today?
Well, today there's over 5,000 characters. It's very big, and we have lots of novels, lots of comic books, lots of games, and the movies and TV series, and there's a whole world of Star Wars now that didn't exist. And obviously we have hundreds of books and comics and everything you could possibly imagine. So, I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy, and I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and make great movies. The ones that I sold to Disney and everything, they came up to the decision that they didn't really want to do those, so they made up their own. So it's it's not the ones that I originally wrote. The original saga was about the father, the children, and the grandchildren, and that's not a secret to anybody. It's even in the novels and everything. It's all about generations, and it's about the issues of fathers and sons and grandfathers, and it's a family soap opera. They decided they didn't want to use those stories. They decided they were going to go do their own thing, and so I decided, fine, but basically I'm not going to try to. They weren't that keen to have me involved anyway, but at the same time I said, I'm not going to, if I get in there, I'm just going to cause trouble, because they're not going to do what I want them to do. So, and I don't have the control to do that anymore, and all I would do is muck everything up. So I said, okay, I will go my way, and I'll let them go their way. I loved them, I created them, I'm very intimately involved in them, and obviously to
and
sell
you
them
sold
off,
them.
I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and
Okay, but I mean,
I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy, and I think that philosophy sort of goes beyond any particular time, because it's based on history, it's based on philosophy, it's based on a lot of things.
People get into all these debates of what's canon, what's not, and sometimes forget just the special nature of telling a good story.
Right.
It was all canon. Everything published was canon.
Right, folks, we are back. We have done our topics. We've glazed some really good Star Wars based channels. We are getting into Shatterpoint Chapter 10 at last. It's been a couple of weeks, and it's really important that we finish what we set out to do. So you can just go about your business and relax and listen to the soothing Scottish accent. And to anyone coming in, it's good to see you. You are welcome to come and hang out and listen. Or you can go back to the start and listen to the replay. It's all good. So we're just quickly finishing off Chapter 9. And I ended it at the private journals of Mace Windu. I don't see Vaster as evil, not as a truly bad man. Yes, he radiates darkness, but so do all the Kurunai and the Balawi. His is the darkness of the jungle, not the darkness of the Sith. He does not live for power, to cause pain and dominate all he surveys. He simply lives, fiercely, naturally, stripped of the restraints of civilization. He is less a man than he is an avatar of the jungle itself. Dark power flows into him and out again, but it does not seem to touch him. He has a savage purity that I might envy, were I not a Jedi and sworn to the light. Black is the presence of every colour. He doesn't make the darkness, he only uses it. His inner darkness is a reflection of the darkness of his world, and it's dark, and and it darkens the world around him in turn. Internal and external darkness create each other, just as do internal and external light. That is the underlying unity of the Force. As Deppa might say, he didn't start this war. He's just trying to win it. And that was it, right there. My Jedi instinct had made a connection below the threshold of my consciousness. Vaster, the jungle, the act dogs, and the humans who had been made into Vaster's pack. Deppa, darkness, so deep it was like being blind. Nick's words, the jungle doesn't promise. It exists. Not because the jungle kills you, because it is what it is. The war itself. Only later, when I would spend a full day riding alongside Deppa's howdah on the dorsal shell of her immense ancox, when I would have to lean close to the gauzy curtains to catch her half-whispered words, would I understand where my instincts were leading me. There are times when her voice is strong and clear, and her arguments lucid, and if I close my eyes and ignore the rocking of the Ancox gate, why is that word so hard to say? Ancox's gate. The insect stings the rich floral rot of the jungle. I can imagine us chatting over a couple of cups of rec tea in my meditation chamber at the Jedi Temple. In those times, she makes a terrifying sense. You still think like a judicial, she told me once. That's your fundamental error. You still think in terms of enforcing the law, upholding the rules. You were a great peace officer, Mace, but you're a terrible general. That's what cost so many lives at Geonosis. We went in like judicials, trying to rescue hostages without loss of life, trying to keep the peace. The Geonosians already knew we were at war, so only a few of us survived. And if I thought like a general, what should I have done? I asked her, let Obi-Wan and Anakin die? A general, murmured the shadow through the curtains, would have dropped a baradium bomb on that arena. Wow. That's a thing to think about. Deppa, you can't be serious. I began, but she had stopped listening to me. Win the war, she went on. Win at the cost of the 2 Jedi, 1 senator, and a few thousand of the enemy. At the cost of everything that makes Jedi what we are. Instead, 100 and more Jedi died, and you have a galaxy at war. Millions will die. Dude, that's a really insane thought. If they had let... This is implying that if they had let Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan die... Oh, there's OG Star Wars in chat. Hello there. I don't know how long you've been in, OG, but we just read a little segment where it's part of Mace Windu's journal, and he's talking to Deppa Bleba, and she's implying that Mace is still thinking like a Jedi. He's not a good general, right? So she's saying that he should have. Yeah, you can go. Yeah, we've only just started really reading on. We're finishing up chapter 9. But if you do go back, we were giving praise to your channel earlier. But my thought here is that she's implying that if Mace had let Padme, Obi-Wan, and Anakin die, then more Jedi wouldn't have died, and then they wouldn't be at war either. I just think that's a crazy thought, because obviously if Anakin dies, he doesn't turn to the dark side. If Obi-Wan dies, all 3 of those characters are so integral to the future of Star Wars. Decrepit says, "Oh man, yeah, you think about it in military fashion, going in to save 2 Jedi and 1 Senator in the grand scale of war is not worth it." Yeah, that's crazy. And we know from earlier in the novel, Mace, like a lot of the Jedi have like PTSD from the Battle of Geonosis. And Mace does as well, but he's kind of pretending that he doesn't. Die Geonosis. Yeah, so she's talking about, you know, when they're about to get executed in the arena, and then Mace comes in with the Jedi and saves them. That's the situation she's talking about, basically. Crazy. Page 194 if you wanted to look at it. I'll read that a little bit again. "And if I thought like a general, what should I have done? I asked her. Let Obi-Wan and Anakin die? A general," murmured the shadow through the curtains, "would have dropped a baridium bomb on that arena." "Depa, you can't be serious," I began. But she had stopped listening to me. "Win the war," she went on. "Win at the cost of 2 Jedi, 1 Senator, and 1,000 of the enemy. At the cost of everything that makes Jedi what we are. Instead, 100 and more Jedi died, and you have a galaxy at war. Millions will die, and millions more will end up like that boy Carr killed, twisted, angry, and evil. Gather 1,000,000 corpses and tell them your ethics outweighed their lives." That's so like, it's just a thought that never came to my head. The clones were still discovered and would still have shown up. Yeah. Wow. That'd be cool. That's a cool topic for a video, I think. We're verging on like Star Wars theory content, right? What if Mace Windu and the Jedi didn't turn up? I guess it probably would have ended up the same because the clones would have turned up. Yeah, Anakin had the plot armor. We're good. I'm going to turn into a theory channel. To this, I have no easy answer, even now. But as Yoda says, there are questions for which we can never have answers. We can only be answers. That, dude, my nose is so itchy, it's killing me. Ugh. That is what I must try to be, for I know now what it means to be a keeper of the peace in the galaxy of war. That is, it means nothing at all. There is no peace. What we thought was the great peace of the Republic was only a dream from which our galaxy has now awakened. I doubt we'll ever fall back into any dream like that again. In the galaxy of war, no one sleeps that well. This understanding came later. At the time, as I sat in the Grasser's saddle and looked down at Carvastor, the prisoners behind us and Depa's Ancox, still unseen ahead. I had only a notion, a hunch, a mass of unprocessed feelings and unsorted ideas, an instinct. But somehow my instincts seemed to be working again, which is why I chose to send Vaster on without me, as I asked Depa 1,000 times when she was my Padawan. Is the true lesson what the teacher teaches or what the student learns? A few paces beyond where the Balawi prisoners stumbled along the jungle floor, Mace Windu reached past the Graster's nose and took its reins in on one hand. This is far enough. Leave me here. Vaster stopped. Looking back over his massive shoulder, Depa awaits. She's waited for weeks. She'll wait a few hours more. For the first time since the battle at a notch pass. Mace felt calm. Sure, on solid ground. Go on without me. I will attend her when I choose. You are sent for. She is not to be defied. Vaster turned and tugged on the reins, but Mace had them in his fist, and they might as well have been bolted to a cliff. Vaster's eyes flickered with distant danger, lightning from a storm below the horizon. You will regret this. I am a Jedi Master and a senior member of the Jedi Council, Mace said patiently. I am a general of the Grand Army of the Republic. I am not to be sent for. If she wants to see me, she will find me at the steamcrawler track before dusk. The lightning in the Lord Pellic's eyes came closer. I have said I will deliver you. Mace matched his stare exactly. Funny, that's almost what Nick said. He didn't have much luck with it either. My orders are your problem. Mace let the reins fall and spread his open hands. He went perfectly still, perfectly relaxed, perfectly calm, except for the sizzle of the force that arced like static electricity from the two lightsaber hand grips to his empty palms. Unless you choose to make them our problem. You can do that right now if you like. Let's see. Hey, there's Felix Raff in the chat. Good to see you, dude. You missed the bulk of the stream. We're just getting through the novel just now. I must be allergic to something. My nose is killing me. Felix, have you read Shatterpoint before? And if I forgot to ask OG, if you've read Shatterpoint, what did you think of it? Because I know it's hit or miss for people. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Cheers, Felix. I appreciate it, dude. We're on chapter 10 anyway. You plan to? Nice one. I've been liking it a lot. There's a few chapters here and there that are a bit slower, but it's definitely building to something. I feel like I think some people feel like it's maybe just not the Mace Windu story that they wanted, you know. I mean, I've got the added benefit of being pretty new to the EU, so like I'm just kind of taking everything as it comes. Like I'm not really anticipating anything coming out or anything. Pardon me. I'm just liking it for what it is, and it's all been good so far. So, like when you're at a point where Shadows of the Empire is your least favorite book that you've read, I think you're doing okay. My nose. Let's see. Vaster let the reins drop as well. He stepped away from the grasser and turned to face the Jedi Master squarely. His immense shoulders bulged, and muscles across his chest went rigid in acid-etched definition. The air shimmered like a mirage around him. Anger beat against Mace like a hot wind in the Force. You will come with me. No. Dark power clutched at Mace's will. You will come with me. Slowly, reluctantly, Mace slid himself out of the saddle and slipped to the ground. He took 2 steps toward Vaster and stopped. I no longer enjoy your company, the Jedi Master said. Go now. Do not return to me without Depa. Vaster's eyes widened. His mouth worked soundlessly. You and I should not be alone together. There may be a fight. Tendons stood out in Vaster's neck, winching his head downwards and pulling his lips away from the sharp-filled teeth. I do not wish to fight you. Doshallow. Despite the rage smoking off him in the Force, his voice was soft. Depa will be angry to find you dead. Then you'd best be on your way, Mace replied reasonably. Don't want to make Depa angry, do you? Apparently he didn't. Vaster's growl thinned to a snarl in frustration. And what should I tell her you are doing here? Nothing that I can be bothered to explain to you. Mace turned back to his grasser and took his reins once more. Any questions Deppa might have, you should ask me. She should ask me herself. Though pretending to be busy himself with adjusting the grasser's tack, Mace paid absolute attention to Vaster's white-hot stare, burning its way into his shoulder blades. He stayed loose and balanced, ready to spring in any direction, should the Lord Pellic lunge for his back. Instead, he only heard a snarl and a growl and several short, deep yips. Vaster had said something to one of the Act guards who watched the prisoners. With one last glare that Mace could feel as though a lens focused sunlight on his skin, Vaster whirled away and plunged into the jungle, loping up the line of march. Mace watched him go, bleak satisfaction on his face. He thought, so much for being the welcome guest. So much for being the welcome guest. Oh, here's oh no. Oh no, Dan Blackroyd's in chat. Just like Thunderbolts, it's all good so far. Well, maybe you should just never watch Thunderbolts and it'll always be good. You know what I mean? Remember, Narrow Dark says, remember reading Shatterpoint as a kid. Pretty sure I never returned the copy I borrowed from the school library. That's one I wish I'd. I think the only one I stole from the school library was The Hobbit. Yeah, I wish I'd kept an eye out for Star Wars novels back then. Cool Kid says, did you see the interview with Rick McCallum talking about the cancelled Star Wars Underworld show? No, it's all good, man. We can talk about whatever you want. I didn't see it. I know Star Wars Theory mentioned it, but I also know that it's a lot of that stuff has been around for at least like 5 years. You know, HoloNet that did the NGO series. Well, he released a video about it. If you want more information on it, Star Wars. I know the Star Wars Marvel purists doing a stream in a few hours, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be talking about that stuff. So he's better equipped to answer stuff about that than I am. But imagine that show did come out when it was supposed to. I've seen a lot of people saying there was about 60 scripts made. The interview I've seen with George, he said that there was like 50 scripts. Not that it makes much of a difference, but I just feel like the information's a little bit different. Narrow Dark says the budget for that show was why it never happened, and it was gonna cost 40 million an episode over a decade ago, which is insane. Yeah, that's right. George said it was going to cost too much because he was basically trying to do the streaming thing. Well, maybe not the streaming thing, but it was, instead of a movie, it'd be a show. Schrodinger's Thunderbolt cannot be comprehended. Exactly. I was talking to my brother yesterday, Dan Blackroyd, and first of all, he was like, have you been watching the new Daredevil yet? And I was like, nah, I heard it was crap. And he's like, no, it's amazing. What was it he said? He was like, it gives me the vibes of like the 90s Ninja Turtles movies. Like, I don't know what he means by that. Maybe aesthetically or something. I was like, all right, cool. I've heard from like people online that it's not very good. And he's just like, oh, you can't believe what people online are saying. And I was like, all right. And then the next thing he says was, have you seen the Thunderbolts trailer? And I was like, aye, it looks all right. He's like, it looks amazing. So I did actually bring up Dan Blackroyd, and I was like, He seems to think it's going to be amazing. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not, but hey, who knows? It could be. What did the Den of Vong say? It's Thunderbolts will be the best Marvel comic book movie since Endgame. So unless I'm mixing his words up, but I know you probably feel that way, eh, Blake? the better Scran, aye. Well, he's got the DVD collection. He knows more about movies than me, apparently. I used to think I was a movie buff, and then I got married, and Mrs. Scran was like, "Oh, have you seen all these old movies from like the 30s and 40s and that?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, I need to get you like cultured and stuff like that." So like, I've not really been watching like pop culture, like superhero stuff. I've been watching a lot of like old Cary Grant movies and stuff like that, like Ginger Rogers and stuff. Fred Astaire. Been getting into a lot of that stuff. Yeah, just no interest in the Marvel movies unless it's Thunderbolts. All right, I'll watch that just for you. But yeah, he's definitely the better the better Scran. I am a Star Wars fanatic. I've seen the movie countless times. You know it better than anyone. Cool Kid says it's funny when people say they're a movie buff and then they don't know anything about film and cinema. Yeah, like I guess I would have said that in terms of having seen a lot of movies. Like when I was a kid, we like I shared a room with my twin brother, and then my older brothers had to share a room as well. So like at night time when everyone would go to sleep, we would sneak through into their room and we just watch like movies we probably shouldn't have been watching when we were that young. One of the ones I remember distinctly was Batman Returns, like sneaking through and watching Batman Returns and thinking like it was like the darkest, like most scariest thing I've ever seen. Dude, I'm definitely allergic to something. The superior twin. Yeah, exactly. He got all the good genes. Like he's bigger built, he's taller, he's got a good beard. The Disney Plus power. Well, he's the one with the Disney Plus account. So, you ever seen that movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito? Well, I'm like Danny DeVito. I'm the Danny DeVito. All that. What is it he says? He's all the crap that was left over. Disney Plus power. Right, I need to at least finish Vincent and Julius. Yeah, I need to at least finish chapter 9 before I get sidetracked. I've got like 2 pages left. Oh, let's see. I'm already sidetracked. Random question, but do you think the prequels were well made, or do you like them but see them as bad movies? I don't see them as. I think I was talking about that a bit earlier. I don't see them as bad movies at all. Like, there's obviously things about them that could be slightly better, but I think despite that, like the story is there, and I prequel singular. What a movie one of one. The saga. This I like the saga of one better. That's funny. No, I think they're good movies, despite some things that could be better. Oh, you're all good, man. Like there's no much point in me sitting here reading if I'm not going to answer your questions. Right, let's see. We've got 2 more pages and then what time is it? Because I'm up at like 5 tomorrow. Can't be bothered. I was late for work today. Slept in. Maybe we finish chapter 9 and then do chapter 10 next time. I'm a fake fan and a clickbaiter. We'll see. I'm definitely allergic to something. My nose is going crazy. Let's see. We're up to here. The Ack guard whom Vaster had spoken to gave Mace a dire look, echoed by the 3 Ack dogs nearby. Mace ignored them all, and a few seconds later the Ack guard stomped off to find his partner and the other Acks. Mace caught Nick Rostu's eye and beckoned. Nick turned the children's grasser over to one of the Balawi and trotted over to the Jedi Master, keeping one eye turned toward the departing Ack guard. Those guys give me the creeps. Looks like a little tense there, Master Windu. What did the big guy say to you? Here, hold him. Mace handed the grasser's reins to Nick. How much did you hear? Some of what you said. Got some guts, you do. Sorry, got some guts, you do. Nick stretched up to scratch the grasser on the side of its neck. But Vaster, maybe you've noticed. You can only understand him when he's talking directly to you. When he's talking to someone else, he always sounds like he's growling or whistling or making some other kind of animal noises and stuff. Yeah, I had noticed something like that, Mace said slowly, nodding. But I thought it was just me. Back at the outpost, things were confusing. That's why it's kind of like you're talking to yourself. You get it? In my head, he talks like a Pelic Baw, curb monkey. So what did he say to you? He was, Mace said dryly, trying to impress me with his sense of duty. So what now? You didn't dust off the most dangerous man in the Karunal Highland just to come and have a chat with the president of Rostu Jungle Nannies Inc. You have a move to make. Mace nodded. We have a move to make. Mount up. You're going to lead these prisoners to the steamcrawler track so that the militia can find them and pick them up. Right, last page of chapter 9. Nick's mouth dropped open. We? Me? Why would I want to do something like that? Because I gave them the word of a Jedi Master that if they surrendered, I would keep them from harm. I will not be made a liar. What's your word got to do with me? Nothing at all, Mace said. I'm sure you enjoy thinking about Keela being disemboweled by a vine cat. When you think of Pell, do you see her starving to death in a grapevine nest or having her eyes picked out by jacunas? Nick looked sick. Hey, easy with that tusker poop, huh? You think the boys will be gored by tuskers? Or shredded by brass vines? Maybe they'll get lucky and fall into a death hollow. At least that is relatively swift, as their lungs are eaten by caustic fumes, and their own tears scald their face like acid. The young Karun turned away. You have any idea what Kar and Depa will do to me? You've been over the ground in this region. If I lead them myself, I will end up losing us all in the jungle. Mount up right now. Nick snorted. Still pretty free with the orders, aren't we? What if I just don't want to? What if I do like thinking about all that stuff? What if I want those people dead? What then? Mace went still. He stared off into the jungle, his eyes filled with its darkness. Then I will beat you into unconsciousness, he said quietly, and ask someone else. He looked at Nick. Nick swallowed. Mace said, I won't tell you again. Nick mounted up. Carvaster, the Jedi Master said, looking again into the jungle. This time, up the line of march where the Lord Pellic had vanished, is not the most dangerous man on the Carunal Highland. Nick shook his head. You only say that because you don't really know him. I say that, Mace Windu replied, because he doesn't know me. Ooh. Mace is getting a bit of his confidence back. Right, there we are. Officially at chapter 10. I don't think I have it in me to read another chapter tonight. It's getting late and I'm up at the crack of dawn. And my nose is killing me. Dan Blackroyd, are you still in the chat? Because I wanted to show you something. My favourite EU book. I really enjoy. I have to. How Mace got his groove back. I really enjoy the Labyrinth of Evil the most out of all the ones I've read. Really good. It ties into Revenge of the Sith. And my second favourite would be Kenobi. I think that's just a fantastic novel. I know Greg hates everything, including this novel. So, right, Dan Blackroyd, you weren't here earlier, but I did a little tribute to the spacing, and since you're part of the spacing, I wanted to show you. I think since the spacing's gone, we need to keep the airlock open, you know. But we're not gonna actually space people. We're just gonna put them in the airlock. It's not our obligation. The Kenobi novel should be burned. Truly awful audiobook. Oh, that's too bad. I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. It's kind of like a Western, but cool kid. If I am to try and read the EU again, I'll definitely give Labyrinth of Evil a shot and Plagueis. But I've heard that one's worth it. Yeah, Plagueis is definitely worth your time. If you don't read any other EU, at least read that. Like Plagueis, I'd say anything I've read by Lucino incorporates a lot of continuity and tie-ins to other things, and it kind of shows you what you're in for if you read the expanded universe, you know. But let's see. The Plagueis, Narrow Dark says the Plagueis audiobook is great. I have heard that as well. I like to do history of videos of the books I'm reading, so I like to keep notes while I'm reading. The only ones I've done audiobooks for are the New Jedi Order, just because there's so many of them, and I feel like when I did the Vector Prime video, I kind of got all the kind of background and stuff that would be worth sharing, you know. And then HollowNet's been doing his documentary, so I feel like sometimes it's like, why bother if someone's already done it better, you know what I mean? But cool kid, if Kenobi and stuff like that, I've done videos about them if you wanted to check those out. Join us at the Space Cantina where the airlocks are always open. I'm gutted that the spacing's gone. Partly because obviously, Dan Blackroyd, Greg hates everything. Alora, it's Greg especially. That's the only place you ever see him, and I love listening to his take on things. And everyone can shoot first. And Liquid Blake needs to do the spacing cantina. Yeah, cheers, dude. Appreciate it. I will be missed. That's for, like, joke aside, man. For sure. So we covered all our topics earlier. I was planning on getting through chapter 10, but my nose is going crazy and my throat's sore. He says while he's drinking Guinness, but that's what Scotsmen do. We just drink. But yeah, I'm happy to stick around and chat for a little bit. Let's see. Like, what are we going to watch on Friday? Like, what are we going to watch on Fridays now? The spacing's gone. Yeah, we lost the spacing and Darth Paws, didn't we? They drink Irish beer. Well, I mean, you're right, but just beer in general. Our whiskey's better than theirs anyway. Trying to think. Was there any other? Here, let's see. Why did Darth Paws leave YouTube? I've asked him a couple of times. He never responds. Like, some people like to say that, like, what was it he did? He said something about Coach's mum, and then Coach came out and said that his mum was dead. But, like, there's no way he knew that when he made the joke. He was just making, like, a generic Alabama joke. So I really doubt. I think, like, he's just a young guy. I just assume his parents nuked his channel. No, it didn't get taken down. He just deleted all his. I guess he must have privatized all his videos or something. I'm starting a new show called The Pacing. The tempo and pacing will be will be paramount to all movies I talk about going forward. Yeah, Felix, I agree. I mean, you've got the networking nonsense. Just start doing stuff on there, like. You part timer. Oh yeah, he was a 12-year-old. No, just kidding. I think he was obviously in his, like, mid-teens or something. The pacing, the spacing. Wait until you see the pacing for the Thunderbolts. It will make all the other MCU movies look slow. Are you actually going to do some content on the Thunderbolts? I think that would be funny. Like, when my brother was talking about it, he was genuinely saying, like, everyone in what was it he said? He was saying that, like, everyone involved in it has been involved in, like, really good, like, other really good, like, projects and stuff like that. And it just made me think about the Andor 2 trailer, where it's like, from the creators of such and such, and the actors from this thing that was good, and, you know, that they have to tell you how good it is. I'm doing a countdown until the red carpet. Oh, you got your invite, didn't you? Yeah, he's just a bit more lenient with stuff. Like, he liked the new Ninja Turtles thing, you know, the Seth Rogen one. Disney just hates Hulks. Just want to put that out there. They hate the Hulk. I mean, how many renditions of the Hulk have they had? Like I think one of my first cinema experiences was the Eric Banner Hulk, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was a bit weird that he'd like grow every time he got like shot though. The animated TMNT movie was pretty decent. Yeah, like because he came over and I watched a bit with them, and I was like it's not terrible, but like I can see you can see where they like insert stuff and stuff like that, you know. But um, for me, it's more like when they make that the focus, you know. The revolution starts now. Yeah, banger. The only the only time that song was good was when Melvin played it on his stream. Does like either way, it doesn't belong in Star Wars, you know. Mm. Another thing my brother has in his room. Pardon me, the Last Ronin. That's the one where it's they're all dead, right? And I think is it Michelangelo that's left? Is that a spoiler? Is it Michelangelo that's the last one? I think I might have just spoiled it for you. Oh yeah, it's a pretty bad trailer. Yeah, because is it the apologies? Is it the original Ninja Turtles comic? It's like black and white, right? And they all have it might not even be black and white, but they all have like red headbands, right? And then it was later they changed it to distinguish them. But yeah, I loved the cartoons. It was one of those cartoons that like my mum wouldn't let us watch because it was violent or whatever, but we still managed to find a way. And then the two 90s movies were incredible. Not the third one, it wasn't very good. Like I think the first one's technically better, but I've got more of a soft spot for the what's it called? The something of the ooze. Can someone remember what it's called? TMNT two something the ooze. Oh, that yeah, it was yeah because Daredevil was popular at the time, right? Secret of the Ooze. Narrow Dark knows it. Good movie. I just remember like for some reason like the pizza at the start of that movie looked so good, and then the donuts that they drug to give to Rocksteady and what's the other one's name? Sutton and Rocksteady, and they drug them with those like donuts. Those look pretty good too. And Shredder looked pretty cool in that one. I always wish they'd have the what was the oh dude what was the brain's name from the cartoon? It would have been cool if they had him in the movies. The movie was exactly the movie was good because of the catering. All the stuff like all this scenes in the sewers and stuff was really cool as well. Oh yeah, and like Disney Star Wars was really bad for that. Just name like especially when they name it after the character and then like the show has like the focus isn't even on the character. Krang, that's it, the wee brain. And he has like the big robot suit. He was always crying to Shredder about his body. Yeah, that's right. Oh, those cartoons were decent. Like And we used to have these Ninja Turtles toys where like they would fold up into like just turtles. Oh, did I miss what you? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Labyrinth of Evil. Yeah, and it's kind of like a double entendre because it's to do with like the works underneath Coruscant, which lead to is it the something 500 where all like the higher up senators live, because that's where all the clues are kind of leading to where the Sith Lord is, you know. And also because like the whole thing in general is like a big labyrinth. It's a quote from Yoda in the book. This is the time of night where my brain kind of shuts off, lads. I'm sorry. That's why we need Dan Blackroyd here to call me out. This is when the exposing happens because I'm not operating properly. He got cut. I thought they killed him. He got cut in half. Are you talking about Darth Maul? No, this is Darth. This is Palpatine. I mean, it's all Dan Blackroyd. None of it matters anyway. None of it counts. It's just fan fiction. Like the Phantom Menace is, like it is Star Wars, and that's where it ends. You know. Oh, the only Sith Lord you know of. Well, what's who do you think that guy in the hood is that's talking to him? Remember that scene in the Phantom Menace on the balcony? Who's that guy with the hood? What's your theory on that? Because it never explains it, does it? Although unknown for all time. But remember that Nemoidian said now there's two of them. And if you know that Darth Maul is a Sith Lord, then you can presume that the hooded guy is a Sith Lord, huh? It's just a theory, you know. It's just a man in a robe, yeah. One of George's many mysteries. Well, you were with George. Did he not talk about that? You were with George in the beginning. I'm sure he would have mentioned. I know the answers, but the general public doesn't. Is it like Yoda's background? George just doesn't want it to be out there. He wants it to be a mystery. I get you. I mean, I guess you already answered me, didn't you? It's not Palpatine. It's actually Steven Spielberg. He really hated him. Yeah. I was reading a thing the other day. No, sorry. It was behind the scenes for Phantom Menace, and George was talking about like when you're making a movie, it's pretty rare that it comes out like exactly like you want it to, and that sometimes you have to kind of like settle. What's the word? When you have to kind of like make do with stuff, like compromise. Sometimes you have to make compromises, and he said Raiders of the Lost Ark was the one time where like it felt like everything aligned and everything worked out perfectly. And then he said, at this point in time, making the Phantom Menace, it feels like it's going to be the same, where like it all kind of like falls into place. I thought that was pretty interesting. Oh crap! Wait, so where does The Phantom Menace being the only Star Wars movie come from? Just, yeah, reality. What happened to Cool Kid was, where is it? Cool Kid. Teddy Brooks wrote this book called Star Wars, and then George Lucas did like a really faithful adaptation to it. Oh, who's this? Star Wars opinion. Not seen you in the chat before, dude. Going to be rereading this in the next few weeks. Currently going through Hard Contact. That's cool, man. We've been working our way through it, and then the last couple of weeks I've gotten off track. So we've just finished up the last few pages of chapter 9, but I'm a chatterbox, so we like to hang out and just talk. We're currently talking about nonsense, but it's all good. Do you have a channel or anything we should plug? Also, what is your favorite expanded universe novel or piece of Star Wars medium? It was Kathleen that made Raiders great. Oh, dude, have you seen that? There's a lot of the shells out there saying, all right, man, no worries. Let us know your favorite EU novel anyway. That'd be cool. There's people saying like it was when that rumor came out that she was retiring, and then they're like, remember when she leaves, she's responsible for. Yeah, Darth Plagueis. There's the hardback. Excellent novel. Nice choice, dude. Followed by Shadows of the Empire. Not bad choices, man. My Shadows one is the sci-fi book club version, like the smaller one. I had a really good time reading that, actually. Not my favorite, but not bad either. It's really good. And then what you've got is I like to share this because it's obviously like the source book of when they made it. They made the multimedia project. In my video where I kind of reviewed it, I shared all the pages where. Well, I'm going to sneeze. Wait. Apologies. I shared all the pages where this book goes into like the like how the expanded universe is part of the canon and continuity and stuff like that. A really good source book. Definitely allergic to something. Where do you get EU books without the Legends banner? All of mine have come from eBay, and here in the UK, it's relatively well priced and easy to get hold of, which is good. Oh yeah, I was talking about KK. Sorry. Yeah, that. So they listed all these like classic movies. They're like Indiana Jones, E.T., whatever else, right? All these old like Spielberg movies and stuff. And then what? So she's, as a producer, she's the reason all these movies were amazing. I don't think so. I do not think so. Oh man. Congo. I need to find that post because it was really long. But it was funny because they listed all these classic movies and then they were like Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Palpatine. And I'm like, you did not just add those in there. Sneaky. Oh yeah, evidently. Right, dudes. It's been a pleasure. You've never heard of the last few. Well, as you know, Star Wars ends with Star Wars starts with Phantom Menace and ends with Phantom Menace. So, Star Wars opinion. Yeah, man. I mean, I usually finish around this time, like on a Monday. Here in, let's see. Oh yeah, definitely, man. Every Monday I try and do it around this time, kind of like so, like an hour or so before this, I'll be starting. So that'd be awesome if you popped in. And consider subscribing. I've got loads of videos to do with the history of EU novels and like kind of proving that EU was canon and stuff like that. I don't know if you agree with that, but like I've got proof, so I've got proof, so I'll prove it to you. Nice one, man. Thanks for popping in. I'll see you next time, hopefully. Oh heck yeah! Cheers, dude. Legend, legend. Not like Disney legends, but legend. I've got a bad feeling about this all the way until the great glowing energy orb of victory. The entire saga. Oh, that's right. That's the first line. So it is. Wait, that's not the first line in the movie. I I want to watch the Phantom Menace now. There might just be enough time. What time is it? Ooh, 11:45. Maybe not. But I do plan on doing a stream where I will be watching it. I'll probably watch the VHS version. And then we're going to take a drink every time there's like a meme, like a quote or something that's a total meme. So that will be scheduled for a later date. Apologies that I didn't read chapter 10. I was really hoping to getting through it today. Life's just a bit hectic and my nose is going crazy. And thank you very much for being here and chatting with me and being awesome and providing the conversation. Yeah. The saga of quotes. Cheers, Narrow Dark. I'm trying to get these things down. They could be better, but that could go for anything. Narrow Dark. Regarding like the Cannon Bomb streams, like I'm going to be having Decrepit on one. I really want to have OG Star Wars on one. So let me know like your favorite kind of Star Wars topic. Maybe even Legacy. I could get Legacy read and then we could talk about that on one. That'd be cool. I'd love to have you on one. That'd be awesome. So we'll get that set up anyway. Let me know. Right, dudes. I will take up no more of your time. Remember, The Phantom Menace is the only Star Wars movie that ever existed. And long live the expanded universe, which also consists of one novel, The Phantom Menace by Terry Brooks. And I will see you all next Monday. Who knows? I might be able to get another stream in before then, but I've got a busy week ahead, so maybe not. Yeah, man, nice one. I'll keep you posted. Enjoy the rest of your night, dudes. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.